This may surprise you, but some words in English are not worth learning. Like these words. They're in the dictionary, but I've never used them, and I've never heard them either. But others are used over and over again, and these are the words that you need to learn. The trouble is, how do we know what they are? And this is where some really clever people have produced some software that can help us. Sketch Engine is a computer program that has collected millions and millions and millions of English texts written by native English speakers. And they've created these massive lists, such as from the British Academic Written English Corpus, that looks at millions of examples of academic English. And I can go into this and I can ask it to tell me everything about how English words are used. And it's provided a list for me of the 10 most common verb types that we use in English. The 10th most common verb type in English is the have auxiliary. The have auxiliary is used in a number of ways in English, mainly for the present perfect. We have gone on holiday. So that's something that happened in the past, but we express it with a connection to now. Have is also used with the future perfect in will have. We will have arrived by tonight. And also in past modals, we could have gone to Greece, but we chose Italy in the end for our holiday. So could have gone, this doesn't necessarily reflect the present perfect, but it's talking about a past possibility using a modal. Have often turns modals into the past form. And have can go with got. We have got a beautiful hotel by the beach. It shows possession, and it's an auxiliary to got in the same way that it's an auxiliary for other words. Now that's a lot of grammar rules, and if you want to know everything about English grammar, click on the link in the description below this video and get my free PDF, no sign up required, 1,500 English grammar rules explained. It goes through 1,500 of the rules you really need to know to get to an advanced level of English. It's completely free. Click in the video description. Here's number 9. The present participle. The present participle is the ing form of the verb, and we usually use it in continuous tenses, such as we are driving to Italy. This means it's happening right now. But we also use it for other purposes too, such as adjectives that cause something. If I say, this journey is really boring, boring is an adjective, so that means the journey causes me to be bored. We also use them in what's called participle phrases. Let's look at the example. Seeing the sign for Rome, we started to get excited about the Colosseum. So the main sentence here is the second part. We started to get excited about the Colosseum. But we can insert these phrases before to tell us about something that caused what came next. Seeing the sign for Rome. So seeing is the verb to see with the ing on the end of it. And what this means here is we saw the sign, then we got excited. So this thing happened first and caused the second thing. Similarly, we can use the ing form as a gerund. Now this is where we have the ing form of the verb, but we turn the verb into a noun, such as if it comes after another noun. I enjoy travelling. So travelling is now in the position after the main verb. So we give it ing to give it noun qualities. Also after prepositions, the best thing about travelling. So after prepositions, if we want to put a verb there, we use the ing form. It gives it noun qualities. Number 8 is just the past simple. The past simple verb is used to express the finished past. For example, we went on holiday last week. We also use the past simple for ideas that are no longer true. People believed traveling didn't affect the environment, but now they do. So in the past, people believed, now they don't. And we use the past of believed to reflect the fact that this idea is no longer true. If it was still true, then we would use believe. And we also use the past simple for something called distancing. This is when we use language and grammar to become more polite by putting more distance between what we say and the listener. So can you help me can become more polite by saying could you help me, changing can into could. Could is often a past form of can, and this makes it more polite. If you make it past time, it creates distance in time, which creates this idea in your mind of distance between the request and the immediacy of how you should respond to it. It feels more distant to the recipient and therefore more polite. Number 7 is verb infinitives. Verb infinitives are used for a number of reasons, such as after modal verbs. We don't use tenses, we just use the infinitive. You must visit Italy. After perception verbs, I watched him go. So watch is to do with what comes out of your eyes. Perception is seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling. So I watched is the perception verb. And then him, that's what I watched. And then the activity he did was go. But in this case, I just used the infinitive here. I watched him go, not to go. I could possibly say I watched him going to turn it into an activity, but go is perfectly acceptable as the infinitive after a perception verb. Also, we use verb infinitives after why in suggestions. Why go on holiday? This really means, why do you want to go on holiday? But we can leave all of that out and just say, why go on holiday? Well, because Italy has nice beaches and the Colosseum. We could use verb infinitives with imperatives. Look over there. There's the Colosseum. We can also use the infinitive after do when do is an auxiliary verb. We do this with questions. Do you like visiting Italy? And like is the infinitive here. And also after certain verbs, we tend to use the infinitive like make and let. There are some others as well. Don't make me go home. So here go is in the infinitive. It's come after make and after an object. What's number 6 then? 6 is past participles. This is commonly the ed form, but not always. It's the kind of word that will go with the perfect tenses. So have you been to Italy? Been is the past participle of the verb to be or to go. With the passive form, the instructions were given by the tour guide. So given is the past participle, and we use it to make the passive, the verb to be, then the past participle. Past participles can also form an adjective, and here if you use them, it means the result of an activity. So if you say, I am a tired traveller, then the result of travelling made me tired. We could also use it with the causative. I had nails painted before the trip. So here, I had means I arranged for someone to do this activity to me. It's a bit like the passive, but a bit more to it, where we use have or get to explain that we arranged for something to happen. I had my nails painted. I didn't do it, but I arranged for someone else to do it. And we use the past participle in participle clauses, such as the one here. Invigorated by the sea air, we slept well that night. So the main clause is we slept well that night. That's the sentence, but we add this extra bit of information that explains how we got to that position. Invigorated by the sea air. That is what happened first, and that led them to sleeping well that night. There's lots of other reasons why we use past participle clauses or what we call participle phrases sometimes, but you'll need to read my 1500 grammar rules explained. Some people say participle clauses, some people say participle phrases. It doesn't matter. What it means is that you're using a participle to form a short phrase that goes before the main clause. What's number 5? Number 5 is the do auxiliary. We use this a lot, so you need to know how it's used. We use the do auxiliary to make most questions if it's not the verb to be, like do you like hotels? We make most negatives with do, again, if it's not to be or not with a modal verb. I do not like hotels. I didn't see the fireworks display. So here we're considering do and did as being part of the same thing. We can also use it for other reasons, such as if you want to emphasize something as definitely true. So if you want to say, I like to be beside the seaside, but you want to emphasize that, you could say, I do like to be beside the seaside. We also use it when imploring with imperatives. Do tell me more. I was enjoying the story. Do tell me more means please tell me more. I implore you to do this. And we sometimes use it as a replacement word when we mean in the same way, like here. People like to dress as actresses do, which means people like to dress in the same way as actresses. Number 4 is just are. We use are for a number of reasons. It's a plural copular verb. What does that mean? It means it's a verb where the information afterwards describes the subject. People are usually kind in Italy. So here, usually kind in Italy describes the people. You could also say people in Italy are usually kind. Usually kind describes all the people in Italy in this sentence. It is part of a plural passive in the present tense. Italians are believed to be friendly. Also the plural continuous. Italians are welcoming the British this summer. I hope so. It's used in sentences that explain existence of something with there. There are nearly 60 million people in Italy. That's if it's a plural. And also in questions with to be, you can use are. Are you ready? Here's number 3. Simply the third person singular. The third person singular is used that's in the present tense, is used over and over again. Remember, the key thing here is you add the S. So this shows how important it is to add S's to the end of the verb when you need to. Number 2 is modal verbs. Modal verbs look like these. The ones in black are pure modals because they exist on their own before a verb infinitive. Can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would. I've got hundreds of rules for modals. I'm not going to teach them all here. Get my free PDF, 1500 grammar rules explained. You'll get all the rules on there. And also find my video, which I released last year. 200 modal verb rules explained. The ones in purple are called semi-modals because we tend to use to with them, or we have other structures that go with them. What's number 1 then? Well, it has to be is. Is the most important verb that we use in English. We use it for all of these reasons in the present simple. We use it to give facts and truths, descriptions, habits which are still true in the present, routines which are still true in the present, timetables, the train is at 9 o'clock, future time, well, if I say the train is at 9 o'clock, the train leaves in the future, so it's future time. We can use it with instructions, formal correspondence, permanent situations, state verbs. When I say state verbs, I mean that is in itself is a state verb. For example, Italy is hot at the moment because it's sunny. That's the state of Italy. So is introduces its state. And we can use it for an official announcement. The wedding of the year is to happen in Rome this year. So those are the verb types that you need to learn in order to be able to speak almost anything in English. You don't need all of those obscure, unusual words that, like the ones I introduced at the beginning. There's 600,000 words in the Oxford English Dictionary, but in practice, people only really use 20 to 30,000. So there's a lot of English words you don't need. What you need to do is become a master of the most common structures and words that we use. And these are the top 10. Make sure you're fully confident using all of those. And this will help you my 1500 English Grammar Rules Explained PDF. Download it completely free from the link below this video.